Jennifer Learnard, and I am presenting on the Dick and Carey model. The Dick and Carey model for instruction was created and introduced by Lou Carey and Walter Dick in the year of 1978. Walter Dick studied alongside Robert Gagne and was heavily influenced by his work. Lou Carey was a graduate student who studied under Dick. According to A Brief History of the Dick and Carey Model, the Dick and Carey model evolved from a model presented by Dick in 1968 to the faculty of the College of Education at Florida State University. It featured 7 linear steps in which the output of the preceding step provided the input for the next, while using evaluative feedback to inform the process. Carey, being a student in Dick's course, encouraged Dick to present this information in a book. She went on to co-author that book with Dick in the year 1978 that was titled The Systematic Design of Instruction. This book presented their model, the Systems Approach Model, which later became known as the Dick and Carey model. As you can see in the graphic, the model contains 10 steps that help the instructor figure out what exactly to teach and how to teach it. The Dick and Carey model uses the systems approach for designing effective instruction, which emphasizes thorough analysis of interrelated instructional components, integral evaluation of instructional materials, and refinement of the instruction throughout the creative process for supporting successful learning. The first step is to identify instructional goals. In this stage, you will need to identify what the learner needs to learn. The second stage is to conduct an instructional analysis, where the teacher will identify the entry behaviors or skills a student will need in order to begin the instruction. The third step is to identify entry behaviors and learner context. This is where a teacher finds out what skills the students already have and what the learning environment will be like. Next, the instructor will write performance objectives, which are specific to what the student should be able to do once the lessons are complete. In education, we typically call those SWABOT. Students will be able to. After this, we move to the fifth step, which is developing criterion reference test items. This is when the instructor will create a test with questions that will match up with the previously determined learning objectives. Sixth, we will develop an instructional strategy. This is where teachers actually create the lesson plan and outline what exact strategies will be used to present the information. Seventh stage is to develop and select instructional materials, where instructors will choose and present all materials needed for the instruction. The eighth stage is to develop and conduct a formative evaluation, which is a way for instructors to check in and look at the data in order to revise and improve instruction. The ninth step is to revise that instruction based on student need and the results of that formative evaluation. The 10th and final step is to design and conduct a summative evaluation, which will allow the instructor to know if the students understood what was being taught. In this research paper titled The Application of Dick and Carey Learning Design Towards Students' Independence and Learning Outcome, the research project was carried out on a group of 32 students who were studying educational technology at the University of Bengkulu. The purpose was to describe the instructional impact that the Dick and Carey model had on this group of students and their learning outcomes. Based on the data taken throughout the course and the data taken at the end of the course, the conclusion was that using the Dick and Carey model was an effective way to reach the desired learning results. In the second research paper, titled Implications of Two Well-Known Models for Instructional Designers in Distance Education, Dick and Carey versus Morrison-Ross-Kemp. This research paper summarizes and compares and contrasts the Dick and Carey model and the Morrison-Ross-Kemp, or MRK, models for instructional design. Both models are used for instructional designers to design a solution to a problem. However, their differences come in many forms. For example, the Dick and Carey model is more linear, where the MRK model is more cyclical. In practical education for me, as the media specialist, I would use this model, the Dick and Carey model, to teach a class of 5th graders how to identify which reference materials to use to find information. Their informational reading standard asks them to draw on information from multiple print or digital sources, demonstrating the ability to locate an answer to a question quickly or to solve a problem efficiently. Their main goal will be to use a variety of reference materials in order to research a given topic. Students will need to have the skills of using ABC order, identifying which reference material should be used in which context, and how to read the definitions and topics in a reference book in order to complete this task. In previous lessons, I've determined that our students do not have a working knowledge of using reference materials in the context, and they struggle to put words in ABC order. Performance objectives will relate to students being able to identify reference materials and be asked to use that reference material to help them find answers to a question. Next, test questions would be created relating to these topics. I would begin mapping out a unit that makes sense in the way it's arranged, such as starting with the basics and ending with application. I would create lessons, introducing, reviewing, and practicing ABC order. I would then introduce each type of reference material and spend time practicing with each. After this, I would model and practice with the students how to take a question, break it down to figure out what exactly the question is asking, determine which reference book would be beneficial to use, and finally, using that book to answer the question. After developing my instructional plan, I would gather or create materials needed. After the lessons are mostly complete, I would create a Google form as a formative evaluation. I would use that data then to guide my remediation or extension instruction to the students. Finally, after reteaching, I would give a summative evaluation to determine if my students met their goals. Thank you for watching.